Om. Om. Gananam tva ganapatikum havamahe kavim kavenamupamasravastamam jyeshtarajam brahmanam brahmanaspata anashvanvannotibesedasadanam prano devi saraswati vajebilvajinivati dhinamavitriyavato ganeshaya namaha सरस्वत्यै नमः श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम Sairam, welcome to another session of study circle. Today's subject is Chaturvarnyam and Brahmanaha Visheshataha, that is the four castes and Brahmin in particular. Today's speakers are Chayapati BK and Suresh Kumar Chuka. I'll first call upon Chayapati to start his part. Kindly take between 10 to 15 minutes. Chayapati.
Yes, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Please start. Please start.
Yes, Guruji. At the outset, I thank you, Guruji, for giving me this opportunity and invoking the blessings of Almighty. I start this topic, the Varnashrama. Varnashrama system is developed in our Vedic culture. It has got a Vedic framework combining the Varnas and Ashramas. That's why it is called Varnashrama. Varna means social classes and Ashrama means the stages of life. Stages of life is Balya, Yavana, Grahastha and Dhavya. So, these two are combined. It is designed to balance the material duties with spiritual progress. It emphasizes harmony among the society, among all the section of population and division of labor. It is possible when each person recognizes others with love, compassion and empathy. So the harmony is possible when each one recognizes the other as his comrade or his fellow being. So this has been imbibed in this Varnashrama, the division of labor. Each one has got some speciality in which he will excel, he will reach the zenith. So the division of labor is one of the aspects of Varnashrama. Each one is allowed according to their tendencies to pursue their goal. The ultimate aim is the gradual advancement towards the higher goal, that is the liberation and attaining the best in this human life. So, Varnashrama gave equal opportunity to all sections of society. Everybody has got the same equal opportunity. There was no caste-based system as it is prevalent today. It is in a different, and it has got a Vedic background. In Vedas, in Purusha Sukta, it has been told, and also among the Prasthanatraya, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna himself says about in the chapter 18, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, he has told in in sloka number 41 to 44, he has very clearly mentioned what is Chaturvarna, how it has formed. So when it has come from Bhagavan itself. So the four division of the four varnas or the section of society are Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Brahmana is the one who guides. He is a priest, he is a teacher, a scholar, and the one who disseminates the knowledge among the public. If everybody cannot do it, just as a person with certain qualities can do it. So those who had the qualities are called Brahmanas. So their duties are doing the rituals and knowledge, acquiring the knowledge and guiding the people for the spiritual life. And next comes Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are warriors and rulers. Everybody has got to protect themselves, and a country has to protect itself. So the Kshatriyas have the quality, and their main aim is protection, governance, and justice, giving justice to all the people. There also we see the harmony and equality among the people. And Vaishyas. Vaishyas are merchants, farmers, and they involve in agriculture, trade and commerce, cattle farming, and economical sustenance. And Shudras, they are the supporting system for the above three. They are the working class, and those who give the support to all the people to pursue their goal, their individual goal, as well as the goal of the society. So they are not to be looked upon the way it has been looked upon in the later part of the Vedic period and in the present generation. So Varnas are based on the qualities, that is called guna. Again, in chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Lord has told about the different gunas manifest in the person. And these gunas are taken as a base for this Varnashrama. And actions. Action is karma. What action they are doing, what karma they are doing in the day-to-day life. It is not by birth, as it is seen nowadays. The Brahmana gained importance due to sacrifice and rituals. So, in Purusha Sukta, there is the shloka comes, our Guruji has already informed in details. I will just read the shloka in Purusha Sukta. It is said, Brahmanosya mukhamasi bahurajanyah krutaha uru tadasya yadvaishyaha padhyagum shudro ajayata. So this is the base for this Varnashrama, how it is created by the God. And it is said that God has made the man to give the havis, that is the offering to the Lord. So he has the Brahmana has become the mouth or the face or the intelligence of a man, and Kshatriya has become the shoulder, and Vaishya has become the legs, and Shudras pada, that is the foot. So the idea is, see, this Varnashrama is in the human system itself. The intelligence is in the brain, and the Paurusha or the Bahubala, what you told, is in shoulder only. The jettis are the those who fight, they do like this. It is said that the shoulder is there, and the foot is the one which takes you miles together. People, we walk. When you walk, we go just because of foot. It is the one which supports the body. And the entire our Vaishyas means it is supporting them. Again, it is supporting, it is doing all the activities. So, in the human system itself, it is imbibed. Just as even the blood which takes the oxygen to the entire body of the human system is also working like a merchant which takes the energy to the entire part of the body. The brain, we cannot distinguish the foot from the brain. How we can distinguish? The brain gives the instruction to our body, different parts of the body to act. So the nervous system is there. So that like that, the same concept has been evolved while forming the Vedic system because it has just come from the Almighty Himself. So, ashrama now I will come to the ashrama system. Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa ashrama. So, then simple, the whole concept of this Varnashrama is social order, spiritual progress and balance of simple living and high thinking, not for any one individual, for the entire society, for the country as a whole. That time there was kingdoms, for the kingdom as a whole.
Conclude.
Yes, sir. Now, gunas. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said in chapter 4, 13 sloka, God has told, I have created 4 varnas according to guna and karma. So I am its creator. Know me, but I am non-doer. That is, I am not the doer, but I have created. He has told in the chapter 14, sloka number 13. We'll just read out the sloka. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaramapi mam vidya kartaramavyayam. So this is the authenticity. And in Bhagavad Gita, sloka number chapter number 18, sloka number 41, Brahmana Kshatriya Visham Chudranan cha Parantapa Karmani Prabhaviktani Swabhava Prabhavair Gunai. What Lord has told, because of the nature and their guna, the 4 varnas have formed Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Like that, it has been bestowed on the person. We can see how it is told by the Lord Himself. Next sloka. Shamo damastapah shaucham shantirrajavamevacha nanam vijnanasatyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Next one, 43. Chauryam tejo dhrutik raksham
1 minute more. 1 minute more.
Okay, Guruji. Yuddhe chapyalayanam danamishvara bhavascha shatram karma svabhavajam. And 44, the last one. Krushik gaurakshavanityam vaishya karma svabhavajam parichayatmakam karmam chudrasyapi svabhavajam. So, the entire system of Varnashrama is based on the social harmony. But of late, it has been our country is invaded by a lot of people over the years, and especially in the 300 years of British rule, they have formed the divided and rule policy, and where this varnashram system was told in a different way, and unfortunately, what is boon for the society has become a bane for the society, and it is bestowed on the people like our Guruji and all the students here to impart this knowledge among the society so that the next generation, the younger generation, the children's, the school children's, college students, younger generation will know the Varnashrama in its real base, in its real way, as it is told by the Vedic period. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you,
Jai Shri
Guruji. Dhanyavad.
Jai Shri Krishna, beautifully brought out by Chayapati. He started well by explaining the very topic itself, and then he gave extensive quotations from Gita and other sources, and overall a well prepared study circle presentation. Well done, Chayapati, keep it up. Now I call upon
All the
Suresh.
blessings I received from all the enlightened people like you, Guruji.
Sadam. Now I call upon Suresh Kumar Pingle to take on further for the next 15 minutes.
Sai Ram sir, am I audible sir, clearly?
Yeah,
Sai Ram all, Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha, Hari Om. So today's topic is the Chatur Varna. So I will cover this in the next probably 15 to 18 minutes. I'll split this into two halves. First on the concept of Varna, Chatur Varna, and what qualities do it talk of, and what is the need for that, or what was the background behind it. References in our scriptures about Chatur Varna. That will be the first half. The second half I will cover about Brahmana, one of the Varnas, and the significance of Brahmana with some examples and the story. So first is, what is Varna? So in Sanskrit, Varna of course means color or shape, but it derives from the root word called Vril. Vril meaning to cover, to count, or to classify. So that is the basis of how this Varna system came about. So this is actually originally based on an organic social order, because the rishis contemplated on nature and the universal consciousness, Brahman, behind it, and they developed a model of society in harmony with nature. That is the background how this came about. And Varna is essentially occupational categories, essentially a social order. Can you please mute Vasanti madam? Essentially occupational categories based on a social order. So that is why it was called as a Varnashrama Dharma. Now ultimately Varna is an interplay of various factors like Guna, Dharma and Karma, which we will see later. So the four Varna system finds place in Purusha Sukta, one of the oldest hymns available from Rig Veda, one of humanity's oldest books. So the hymn describes the entire universe in the form of a human being, a cosmic person called Purusha. So this is how it goes. Mukham kimasya kau bahu kabhuru pada uchyete brahmanosya mukhamasit bahurajanyakritah guru tadasya yadvaishyah adhyagum shudro ajayata. So essentially the four Varnas, which is Brahmana, the first one, deriving from the head of the cosmic Purusha, then Kshatriya from his arms, Vaishya from the thighs, and Shudra from the feet. Now these are not conflicting occupations or separate occupations, but part of a unitary social fabric. Very similar to how in the human body we have different organs and each of them having a unique function. The same way The same way, these are essentially representing the organs of the cosmic Purusha in different forms, but essentially all working towards an ecological model of society that is universal. That was the background here. Because each organ having its own function, one organ cannot perform all the functions, which is obvious even in our human body. The same way, this social order was devised to make sure each of them perform their respective roles, but there was a flexibility in moving between these roles. Now, what are the references in our scriptures? I think Purusha Sukta is one of the oldest which finds mention. The second I would refer Bhagavad Gita. I think Chayapati sir has already covered it, but briefly. Chatuvarnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagashaha. So the 4 categories of occupation were created by me according to people's qualities and activities. And he says, I am not the doer, which I think is explained. Then 1841 also talks about the duties of Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So essentially, the Varnashrama Dharma was a scientific way of organizing society based on, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Swabhava Prabhavair Gunaihi. So Swabhava, that is his own, each person's innate qualities, and Prabhavair Gunaihi. So basically based on his gunas. So the connection to the ashrama and varna, I think Chayapati sir explains, I'm not getting into it, but essentially, as I mentioned, it was a scientific way of organizing the society and accepting there is diversity in the humanity, and how can you achieve unity in diversity and thereby deriving a social order. Now, what are the 3 gunas? I think we all of us know Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So each of these varnas, one of the gunas is predominant and the other 2 gunas become minor. For example, in Brahmanas, the Sattva is predominant, Rajas and Tamas are minor. Kshatriyas, Rajas is predominant, Sattva and Tamas is minor. Vaishyas, Rajas is predominant, but Tamas and Sattva are minor in that sequence. And Shudras, Tamas is major or predominant, regulated by Rajas and Sattva. So these, I think the occupations, I think has already been covered. So for paucity of time, I'm not covering them in detail. I think all of us know that. But what is important is this classification neither meant to be according to birth, nor was it unchangeable, which means you could move across these occupations. So as Krishna says, guna karma vibhaga, people's qualities and activities, guna, the innate tendencies, your inner personality, and karma, your actions that you choose after birth decides your varna. Now what is this swabhava, which is what? Swabhava prabhavair gunaihi. So the swabhava, the 3 gunas, depending on the natural tendencies of a person, will function or will show how he behaves in the society. So this guna constitution is not absolute. You may have been born with a certain birth in terms of Brahmana or Kshatriya or whatever, but it can be changed by your karma or self-effort is what Lord Krishna talks about it here. So in chapter 8, it talks about the Swabhava. I'm not reading the verse, just at a highlight. It says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Dhyayatma Muchyate. So the Swabhava is the spiritual essence in us. It is the same for everybody, whatever be the Varna, but that Swa, which is what is my inner personality, and that will help decide what sort of actions I do, and that can be modified. That is, the guna, underlying guna can be modified, and I can move across the social order. For example, a person may be very good in music, but he may take up a career in information technology because the profession is more lucrative. Now, you could have another person who is a Brahmin by birth, but probably can join the defense. So such a person is called Kshatra Brahmana, means the prefix corresponds to the actions he has taken, the karma, whereas internally he could be a sattvic person. Example, our Sir Ramanujam sir. So our scriptures repeatedly proclaim that the path of spirituality and goal of attaining moksha is open to everyone. It is not restricted to a particular class or a varna. The perfect example of this is Satyakama Jabala, beautiful example from Chandogya Upanishad. So in Chandogya Upanishad, Satyakama Jabala goes to Gautama, Rishi Gautama, and he wants to learn about the scriptures and then take the path of moksha. Now he is an unknown parentage, his father is not known. So he calls himself Satyakama Jabala, Jabala meaning his mother's name, who was a servant. So Gautama asks him, who is your father? And Satyakama honestly says, I don't know because my mother couldn't tell. So Gautama says then only a true Brahmin could speak with such honesty, teaching that truthfulness and character define a Brahman and not birth, and accepts him as a student and then initiates into brahmacharya. And then Satyakama spends time in the forest tending some cows given by his guru, and he later attains enlightenment and he becomes a revered sage who published the Jabala Upanishad. So what does the story signify? Truth. The story emphasizes truthfulness as the highest virtue, not the caste or lineage. And true Brahminhood is a Brahmin not by birth but by character and pursuit of truth, which is guna and karma. Now moving on to other scriptures where this reference is there. Manusmriti of course talks about it. I'm not reading the text here for paucity of time. So it says the Sudra attains a position of Brahmana and the Brahmana sinks to the position of the Sudra. The same should be understood for the other two castes as well, which means it is only your guna karma which makes your position in the society. Vishnu Purana also talks about Varnashrama Acharana. Essentially talks about whatever you do according to your Varna is ultimately for the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam also talks about the occupational activities of a man performs according to his own position, and all of that is an offering or a surrender to the Almighty. Now then the last second part of my talk is on Brahmana Varna. What is the significance? Brahmana is Brahmam Janati iti Brahmana. So one who knows Brahman, the absolute truth. It is not by birth, but by spiritual knowledge and realization. And Brahmana is a state of consciousness and knowledge, not merely Varna, caste or birth. Now, Skanda Purana talks about it beautifully. Janmana jayate shudraha, samskarat bhavet dvijaha, veda pathat bhavet vipraha, brahmam janati iti brahmanaha. So everyone is a Shudra at the time of birth. Dvija means twice born, just like the bird. Bird is called a Dvija because the bird is once born within the egg and then fermentation happens and then it comes out of the egg. Similarly, a person born by a father and mother, whoever is a Sudra at birth, but when he is given education and reformation, that is his first ashrama, he becomes a Dvija and then allowed to study the Vedic literature and masters it, becomes a Vipra, and upon true realization becomes a Brahmana. Bhagavad Gita, I think Chayavati sir covered it. Shamo damas tapas shaucham. So a Brahmana must be a very learned scholar, studying all Vedic knowledge meant for Brahmanas. What are his qualities? Sadhya, tapasya, satyam, shaucham, tapa, arjava, titiksha. Essentially, self-control, austerity, purity, peacefulness, tolerance, honesty, humility, knowledge, wisdom, etc. So these are the qualities of the Brahmana and not birth or anything else. Vajrasuchi Upanishad also talks about the status of Brahman. It is not based on birth, knowledge. It is only based on knowledge and direct realization of the Atman or the Brahman. So that is about Vajrasuchi Upanishad. Essentially, Sattva Guna predominant is the Brahmana. Now, how do we identify a Brahmana? Bhagavad Gita chapter 5:18 talks about it. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shwabhakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. Essentially, the truly learned with the eyes of divine knowledge see with equal vision a Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Humility is the key trait and sees all as God's creation. Beautiful example of this again in our scriptures is the Manisha Panchakam, Shankara and Chandala episode in Kashi. So just to quickly share the story. So Shankara, after his morning bath in Ganga at Kashi, encountered a Chandala on the way, and Shankara instinctively asked him to move aside. So he said, "Move aside, O Chandala." And to this, Chandala calmly responded with a deep philosophical question. "O revered Acharya, are you asking the body to move aside or the Atman? If the Atman is one and same in all beings, Brahmin or Chandala, what difference can there truly be?" So these words shook Shankara, and he prostrated before that divine soul, and he knew it was Lord Shiva himself testing him. So overcoming this Chandala's wisdom overwhelmed, he wrote the Manisha Panchakam, which is just 5 verses, which beautifully talks about Atman is beyond caste, creed, and distinction. Now, do you become a Brahmana only by birth? Definitely no. We have seen
Another
all
2
these
minutes.
examples before. Yeah, sure, sir. And so it is very clear that the ultimate ideal of moksha or liberation or the highest knowledge is accessible to all varnas. We have many examples in our Sanatana Dharma, many rishis, many personalities, many saints who were from different janma or kula but attained the highest. For example, from ancient, Valmiki, Vishwamitra, Narada Muni, Vedavyasa, Vidura, Mathanga Muni, Shabari, Guha, Sage, Dharmya Vyadha, who was a butcher, many people who are not born as a Brahmana. Bhakti saints, I don't need to cover, Alvars, Nayanmars, Marathi saints, our own Dasa Sampradaya in Karnataka, Nammalvar, one of the greatest Alvars, Siddhars, many of the Siddhars, 8 out of the 18 Siddhars were not Brahmana by birth. Literary personalities like Avvaiyar, Thiruvalluvar, Arunagirinadar, Kabir, Ravidas, so many of them. Contemporary, Lokamata Rani Rashmoni, who built the Dakshineshwar temple in Calcutta. Siddha Rameshwar Maharaj, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Narayana Guru, many. So essentially, what do they teach? They not only challenged barriers to become recognized as saints, but encourage Hindus, Sanatana Dharma, to accept that a person, whether Shudra or not, can be pure through their positive karma, transforming their innate gunas. So once born through a Sudra, acquiring spiritual knowledge should be treated as a Brahmin, and one, even if born a Brahmin, would be qualified as a Sudra if found lacking such knowledge. So last, I'll just finish with a story, sir. Who is a Brahmana? This was a question posed in Vana Aranya Parva in Mahabharata, where Yudhishthira and a snake conversation talks about it. So Bhima, while they were in the Aranya Parva, he was captured by a snake called Nahusha, who was a huge python, and he was about to eat this Bhima. At that time, Yudhishthira approached the snake and asked him to free Bhima. Then Nahusha, who was a king in his past janma, asked Yudhishthira that I'll ask you a few questions. If you answer that correctly, I will leave your brother. So the conversation went like this. Who is a Brahmana, says Nahusha. Yudhishthira says, one who possesses the qualities of truthfulness, charity, forgiveness, good conduct, mercy, and who observes the duties of the Brahman should be considered Brahmana. So then Nahusha says these qualities can be found in a Shudra also. Then what? So he says, Yudhishthira replies, if these qualities are found in a Shudra, then he should be considered to be a Brahmana. It is the actual possession of the qualities that make a person a Brahman and not the birth. So Nahusha then challenged, O king, if the caste of a person is determined by qualities alone and not by birth, then how can the caste of a child be determined? So then he says the famous Skanda Purana quote, one cannot be considered to belong to any varna or caste by birth. Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat bhaved vijaha veda pathat bhaved vipraha brahmam janatiti brahmanaha. So this conversation gives a very clear understanding of the system of varna as explained in the scriptures, specifically in regards to the possession of a brahmana. Hari Om, sir. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Hari Om, Hari Om.